Every country has its own footballing hero. In Brazil, it's the inimitable Pelé. Argentinians worship Diego Maradona. Eccentric keeper Jose Luis Chilavert is a Paraguayan folk hero. Chileans go crazy for Ivan Zamorano. Uruguayans adore their prince, Enzo Francescoli. But none are more eccentric or more eye-catching than Colombia's legend, Carlos Valderrama. Now he's finally hung up his boots at the age of 42, after a brilliant career built on substance and style.
People know me because of my hair, on and off the field. And it makes me feel good, because it was a personal thing, something I enjoyed. I never thought I'd become known in football because of my hair, but as time went on, this whole hair thing grew, and people now recognize me for hair.
Carlos the Kid Valderrama is so popular, a statue was recently unveiled in El Pibe's honor, next to the stadium in his hometown of Santa Marta. 7 meters high and a tribute to the greatest player in Colombian history. He was a magical sorcerer who inspired Colombia to 3 successive World Cup finals in the 1990s. Those who have played alongside him regard him as one of the greats of the game, not just in South America, but worldwide.
El Pibe is a symbol. He is Colombia's best ever footballer, and we all look to him as an example.
Carlos is a source of pride to all Colombians. He's down in the history books as a legend, as one of the great talents of world football.
Valderrama was destined to be a footballer. His father was a talented coach working in provincial football. It didn't take long for his son's talent to be spotted by his hometown club. He always stood out, and he never stood still.
I started at Union Magdalena in 1981. By 84, I moved to Millonarios. In 85, I was on to Deportivo Cali. I was there for 4 years, before I went to Montpellier in France. I then went to Spain and Valladolid. From there I went to Medellin for a year in Colombia. Then I spent 3 years at juniors at Barranquilla. I moved to the MLS where I've been playing for 7 years. That's basically my footballing history.
Valderrama became one of American soccer's biggest success stories. He still holds the league record for assists and became the oldest player to appear in an MLS game at 42. But wearing Colombian yellow was always the highlight.
My best times were with the Colombian national side, qualifying for 3 World Cups. We took part in 5 Copa America championships. We played good football. The most bitter memories were in 1994, when we couldn't go any further at the World Cup. But in general terms, we've got good memories, and that brings us peace of mind.
Twice South American Player of the Year, Valderrama won a record 111 caps for Colombia. He reached his peak in 1993, masterminding a 5-0 defeat of Argentina in Buenos Aires, a result which stunned the world and made Colombia Pelé's favourites to win the 1994 World Cup. That didn't happen, but Valderrama had gained the respect of another legend.
My footballing hero has always been Diego Maradona, because of the way he played football, because of the happiness he brought to the people. I'd choose him as my footballing idol.
Now enjoying life away from the spotlight, Valderrama is looking for a move into coaching. Rumours that he will take over the national team have been denied by the Colombian Football Federation. But Valderrama is keeping a close eye on the country's next generation of players.
We're going through a transition period at the moment. Many have retired. There's a group of young players that are now doing very well. They're getting good results. And let's hope that in the qualifiers for the 2006 World Cup, we manage to qualify. I think we're well on our way.
His influence on Colombian football has been profound, and the Carlos Valderrama story is not finished yet.
countries, they may be neighbours, but on the pitch, Bolivia and Argentina are worlds apart. Argentina have a football history Bolivia could only dream of. But there are signs of new hope, and surprisingly, they come from across the border in the heart of Argentina. 50 kilometers from Buenos Aires is Escobar, an Argentine city best known for its parks and horticulture. Escobar is also home to the majority of the 1 million Bolivians living in the country. 3,000 miles from La Paz, Escobar now even has its own Bolivian football academy. Catering for the children of the country's immigrants, it's the brainchild of Bolivian football legend, Milton Melgar. After 16 years and 89 caps for his country, Melgar hung up his boots. Now he's looking to help others follow in his footsteps.
We've been here for just over 2 years now, and we are seeing them developing. We can see that some of them may have a future in professional football.
Melgar also made his mark in Argentina after playing for both of the Buenos Aires arch-rivals, River Plate and Boca Juniors. Having played football in both countries, Melgar set up this school in 2001, aiming for the best of both worlds. Despite his achievements, he remains a humble man.
I met him as we were setting up this project. Sometimes when you meet an idol, you suffer disappointment. In Milton's case, it was quite the opposite. I was looking for a player, and I found a friend, a person that's not only a good footballer. You can see the work he's done here is incredible.
Every day, over 100 youngsters aged between 5 and 16 practice here. Sponsored by the local Bolivian community, Melgar School is about more than just football. The children are given breakfast, and some even receive education. Others just come to play. While the emphasis here is always on fun, everyone takes it seriously. The people at the academy know there is a lot of local talent out there. All they need is encouragement. Already, some of the students have gone on to bigger things. Melgar has been a personal inspiration for all of them.
Milton Melgar taught me everything I know as a footballer and as a person. He helped me a lot. He taught me how to behave on the field, how to be a good person. It's helped me a lot in my personal life and helped me on the football field.
Melgar's ultimate goal is to help football back home. One of South America's weaker nations, Bolivia have struggled to compete against the likes of Brazil and Argentina. The 1994 World Cup was Bolivia's only appearance since 1950, and they only managed just the 1 point.
It's in a very bad state. I believe that today we are amongst the worst in South America. We don't work in the lower divisions, and professional football is badly managed. The management is seriously failing to bring any progress.
As a Bolivian school in the heart of Argentina, these students benefit from the best of both cultures. Utilizing the skills and ideas from each country, the youngsters develop a unique blend of South American football. And progress on the pitch has been matched off it too. The academy has helped break down barriers between the Argentine and Bolivian communities.
We've had good integration here. Football has helped tremendously through integrating both cultures. Nationality doesn't make any difference. Thankfully, sport, and in this case football, unites the kids even more.
He's one of the finest players ever to grace the game. A driving force behind the team that powered England to their first and only World Cup victory in 1966. Sir Bobby Charlton.
Bobby Charlton embodies everything that's good about English football: fair play, skill, ambition, determination. You know, hasn't forgotten his roots. He's a marvellous person. The fact that he's been knighted by, you know, the Queen just shows how highly he's regarded, you know, by everyone.
Sir Bobby won 105 caps for his country. His total of 49 international goals remains an English record. But away from England, his heart belongs to Manchester United. On his debut in 1956, he scored twice, helping the Red Devils to the league title that year. 47 years on, he's still playing a key role at Old Trafford behind the scenes.
I enjoy every day. I'm involved with the club. It's, I'm so proud of the success we're now probably the biggest club in the world. You know, you can't really complain very much when you're able to say that, without any doubt. Over the past decade, we've won the championship 8 times in 11 years. And we won the Champions League once. It's a great ride, and I'm pleased to be here. I'm pleased to be on the ride. It's just magic.
In May, United celebrated yet another domestic championship. Another thrilling climax to the season, as Sir Alex Ferguson's side went head-to-head with Arsene Wenger's Arsenal and clawed back an 8-point deficit. United may have struggled to live up to their billing in Europe, but at home they're still the team everyone has to beat.
Our team and our players and the manager and the staff, they're able to instill a competitive edge for all the success that keeps coming to the boil every season, and it's marvellous the way they do it. But we have a team that doesn't change a lot. We might have some injuries, but the basis of our team doesn't change too much. And we have that will. We want to win every game, and we go to the 90th minute every game.
I think Bobby being a director at Manchester United is incredibly significant for the club, because it shows that, you know, it has its roots in the past, you know, the great teams of the past that Bobby obviously was, you know, a captain and marvellous figurehead of.
As the new season approaches, changes in the air. Another Manchester United and England hero has left Old Trafford, arriving in Madrid to media frenzy. With David Beckham gone, the club is rebuilding for the future. Some big names may soon be on their way. But it's another homegrown player who has caught Charlton's eye. Defender John O'Shea. Last season, the 22-year-old Republic of Ireland international enjoyed a rapid rise to prominence at Old Trafford, making 52 appearances in domestic and European competition, shining across the back line.
Any Manchester United player is my favourite. I love them, but he has been a revelation. I don't think anybody in their wildest dreams, when he first came onto the scene, would have thought that he would reach the standards that he has. He's confident, he's big, he's tall, he's aggressive, he's not afraid, and he goes forward. He wants to go forward.
United expect, but with Euro 2004 fast approaching, what of the current crop of England players? Perhaps predictably, Charlton's tips are closely connected to Old Trafford.
We've a lot of pleasure to get from watching the players at the moment. I mean, Paul Scholes, David Beckham, you know, the Rio Ferdinand, they're young enough to be in the England team on a regular basis for a long time.
Charlton's pick of England's new generation, however, hails from another great city in England's northwest. Emerging from the shadow of Michael Owen's Liverpool, the Premier League's most improved side, Everton, have produced a wonderkind.
Wayne Rooney is the one that stands out more than any, really, because potentially great players, you can't miss them. You can't miss them, you know, and you get a glimpse of it and you think, wow, you know, here's something different.
Sir Bobby Charlton, club director, a nation's ambassador, and still determined to be a winner.
Yes!
It shook football and all who love the game. Marc-Vivien Foé's collapse and tragic death last month during a Confederations Cup match cast a long shadow. He was only 28. He made his Cameroon debut at 17. He twice inspired the indomitable Lions to African Cup of Nations success. During his club career, he spent a season at West Ham before winning the title in France with Lyon. Last season, he played 38 games back in the Premiership with Manchester City. But it was at Lens where he wrote a memorable chapter. In 1998, they were battling it out with Metz for the French League Championship. 6 games from the end of the season, Paris Saint-Germain arrived at the Stade Bollaert. A victory was vital. It was all going to plan for Lens early on. Tony Varels headed in. Foé then went close. Out-jumping PSG keeper Vincent Fernandez, he couldn't quite get enough distance or accuracy on his header. But then an in-swinging Stefan Ziani corner sailed straight in to make it 2-0. And a famous victory was on the cards for the northern underdogs. Foé was orchestrating things in midfield. Powerful, intelligent. The Lion was covering every blade of grass. Half-time and the Foé-inspired Lens were in full control. Into the second half, the combative number 17 kept driving forward. And when Vladimir Smicha was fouled outside the area, the Cameroonian got his just reward. Just when PSG thought they'd cleared the danger, Foé reacted quickest to the blocked free kick, coolly engineering a shooting chance and blasting home. 3-0, a performance that would seal Foé's reputation as one of the best midfielders in Europe. 2 months later, Lens were on the brink of their first ever title. Another powerful display by the Cameroonian and a draw at Auxerre sealed the title. Marc-Vivien Foé. Football has lost a very special player.
It was their golden age. Mexico 1970 saw them qualify for a World Cup finals for the first time in their history. The likes of Teofilo Cubillas and Hector Chupitas would dazzle the world. Peru had never known a team like it.
Our generation has been one of the best ever. Not just the quality of players, but also the way the national team was organised. There was great companionship between us.
I will always remember 1970. It was my showcase. It gave me the chance to show the world my skills as a footballer. It was my first time in the World Cup and a chance to begin right at the top.
Cubillas and Chupitas remain arguably the country's best ever players. With nearly 200 caps between them, at home they're lauded as superstars. The Estadio Nacional in Lima was the setting as Peru's team of the 70s recently took on a South American 11 in a charity match. The heroes from the 70s showing they still have what it takes. The crowd lost count of the goals. 30 years after their golden era, the talent was all still there.
We were 7th in the world ranking. It was a great achievement. Since then, we've just kept playing together, all over Peru, 30 years after the World Cup in Mexico.
Después de 20 y tantos años retirado del fútbol, México 70 todavía sigue jugando.
The mastermind behind the success at Mexico 70 was a Brazilian. Didi coached Peru to the second round of the World Cup finals. Indeed, it took Didi's home nation to knock Peru out by 4-2. Perhaps the world's greatest ever team had to be at their best that day. Tostão pulled the strings in Brazil's midfield.
The game between Brazil and Peru was very difficult for us, but it was enjoyable because it was played between two teams who had great front lines. We played very offensively. We scored many goals, but so did Peru. It was a wonderful game with brilliant strikers on show.
Peru have played at 4 World Cup finals in all. As well as Mexico, they also featured in Uruguay in 1930, Argentina in 78 and Spain in 82. But since that last appearance, it's been a sorry story. A crippling economic crisis in South America hasn't helped. It's a different game today. Football in Peru is struggling to live up to its past.
We grew up with football in our blood. A daring football, the one you play in the street and at school. Now, though, football has just become a business, and it's going backwards. Peruvian players have no personality anymore. Today, they just play a quick game, without much talent or technique.
Peru are currently ranked 80th in the world, 73 places below their 70s heyday. That era had sparked a football fever in the country, which changed the face of the domestic game. Now a shrine outside the Peruvian Football Federation headquarters in Lima commemorates the glory days. Peru may need more than a prayer before they turn the corner. But perhaps the memories of the 1970 heroes can help inspire a new generation.
And we'll have another Western Union World Football Report next week when we stop off in Helsinki and catch up with an Argentine folk hero in North London, Tottenham's former midfielder Ricky Villa. Time now for the last headline update for the day. Mika Bakken is at the World Sports Desk.